What's going on, my fellow rock and rollers? Don't forget to smash the bell notification icon to be notified every time I put a new video out on my channel. And a subscriber of mine had requested for me to do a video on the story behind Alice in Chains singer Layne Staley singing on the Heart cover of the Bob Dylan song Ring Them Bells in 1993. But how did this collaboration happen? Stay tuned to find out. The song Ring Them Bells was written and recorded by Bob Dylan for his 26th studio record titled Oh Mercy, which came out in 1989. The album was celebrated after a string of disappointing records from the folk singer. The album would also serve as Bob Dylan's best chart showing in years, with the record peaking in number 30 on the album charts. And Ring Them Bells would be one of the more celebrated tracks off the album, invoking spiritual overtones. In 1993, Heart was working on their album Desire Walks On, which featured a cover of the Bob Dylan song, and the Wilson sisters wanted a male voice to harmonize with them on the song, and initially approached Soundgarden frontman Chris Cornell to record the song, but his record label wouldn't give Heart permission to release it. Ann Wilson would instead place a call to Alice in Chains frontman Layne Staley, who agreed to do the song. It's important to note that both Heart and Alice in Chains hailed from Seattle, but of course came from different generations. If you guys have read anything about how Layne recorded his vocals, whether it was for Alice in Chains or Mad Season or any other track he's guest starred on, then you'd know he hated to have people in the studio watching him. In fact, Ann Wilson would remember, he was like, "Oh no, you can't be in the control room when I'm singing. You have to go away." And the Wilson sisters would instead go out to dinner when it came time for Layne to come to the studio to record his vocal parts. And they would end up coming back when he was done the vocal take, and he didn't want to be in the room when they were listening to the playback, so he left. And 1993 would prove to be the last year where Layne would do extensive touring with Alice in Chains, and even by that point in time, Ann Wilson had noticed the toll that addiction had taken on Layne, saying, "You could see that day. His struggles with drug addiction had taken away part of Layne. He'd become smaller and smaller inside and out, even hunched over. He was little to start with, but when I gave him a hug, I was afraid I might break his bones," she'd recall. "I had seen some of Alice's first shows when Layne was luminous on stage, whiter than white as he was lit from within. I was like, he didn't have a body when he was performing." Now, for those of you who have actually stayed this long, here's a cool clip from 1993 where the Wilson sisters talk a bit more about Layne and the song itself. And if you guys want to check out Chris Cornell's version of Ring Them Bells, you can go check it out on YouTube.
Chains and Heart, not just neighbors in Seattle, but friends. That's how Layne ended up singing on Ring Those Bells.
Oh, Layne, yeah. Layne, Jar of Flies, Staley.
Yeah, you know, we also have on tape a version of Chris Cornell doing it, a version of
the guy from Brad.
Sean.
Sean, yeah.
We really had a lot of different ideas for who should sing that part, and among them were Dylan, got all kinds of people.
Robert Plant.
Yeah, and everybody turned us down. And so
or they were busy.
Yeah. And so we said, well, the hell with these guys. Let's find let's get somebody we know who's great, who's young, who's a great singer, who's full of, "Hey, Layne, come here!" You know.
He was in town for like one night.
For one night.
Between Lollapalooza and vacation. He's like,
yeah.
"Layne, come over here right now." So he did. He bailed us out.
Cool.
Oh, those killer lyrics. I mean, you just
yeah.
want to stop even trying to write songs when you know, when you look at lyrics like that.
And to hear Layne sing some words like, and the mountains are filled with little lost sheep. I mean,
yeah.
You never hear him sing.
Talk about
like
irony.
Yeah.
You know, this ironic person singing these amazingly ironic lyrics.
And he's such a dark hero, you know. I mean, his image is so shredded, and he's so, you know, troubled and all this kind of stuff. And then to hear him sing these brilliant Dylan lyrics.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like button and subscribe. And we'll see you again next time on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.